Namaste everyone. Welcome to Advaita Vedanta Satsang House. After having completed 29 classes, this is the room on discussion related to Bhagavad Gita. So you're welcome to come up and ask Binduji questions and clarifications. I've also posted the 3 links where you can access Binduji's lectures and classes from Bhagavad Gita, Avaroksha Anubhuti and the Upanishads earlier. YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcast. Just save the links and you can access them. The hand raising is open, so is the chat window. Please come up. Thank you. Over to you, Binduji.
Jay says no questions now.
Jay is coming up.
Anyway, good. Namaste, Jay.
Today, no session, is it, Binduji?
Today, Friday, we have the discussions on
Whatever
on
we
the
spoke.
based. Yes.
Super, then I'll start. Actually, last week it was hugely helpful for me. I'm still digesting all the awesome answers and the pointers and the guidance. Now, if I may ask, this is obviously not a burning question, but a broader question, bit of a philosophical side only. And this I tried to ask you many months ago also. The point is, like, Shankaracharya came and then he consolidated the knowledge and he brought a new life to the whole Advaita and other broader Hindu philosophy. Similarly, like, I'm seeing even masters like whether it is Osho, Ramana, Ramakrishna Paramahamsa and all these people come and then they talk individually on their own. But one uniqueness of Shankaracharya, Adi Shankaracharya, is that he consolidated all the knowledge and he intentionally want to bring a revolution, and he went out and spread and made mutts and all those things and all, right? So now, in this century, I mean, at least after Adi Shankaracharya, I'm not seeing anybody who has come with an intention of, okay, sort of authoritative figure will say, yes, this is the knowledge, this is what it is, and he consolidates all the knowledge till then, whatever happened. Because after Adi Shankaracharya, so like from many hundred years, many things have happened. So, maybe I'm missing it. Have you seen any master who comes and consolidates all the knowledge and brings a revolution and rejuvenation for this whole spiritual / Advaitic point of view? Have anybody come, or is there any hope for humanity for one consolidator to come and take all the knowledge and write commentary, and this is what it means, this is what it is, and beautifully summarize, so that one single person can read only Adi Shankaracharya and his interpretations and then get the spiritual benefit?
To answer to you, you have to refer to the very verse from Bhagavad Gita. Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata apyutthanam adharmasya tadatmanam srajamyaham. What it says that whenever there is a decay in the spiritual values and moral directions in the society or in the people, I come back again and again to restore the dharma in the society. Sambhavami yuge yuge. It's a promise by Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita. So you will find that whenever there has been a decline of dharma in the society and people are more becoming materialistic, masters have come to this world for consolidating and rejuvenating the values of moral life. And those who want higher knowledge also has been given that opportunity. Now, we cannot say there is only one master like Shankaracharya. At that time, Shankaracharya did what he did. Whether he is the one who started the mats or not is a question which is still being negated and discussed by historians and the traditional people. There is a dialogue going on or argument going on in that direction. But as far as spirituality is concerned, those are not the important points. The method in which Shankaracharya codified the Upanishads to churn out the non-dualistic approach is still appealing and valid and operational to all those who are listening to it. But there are people who, during that time or later that period also, who found that it is not the right thing. So there are people like Ramanuja, Madhva, and then there is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Like that, people have thought that, devotion is better or some other philosophy is better. There are so many people who had come in between also. But we are not listening, we are not hearing about them so much as Shankaracharya because the way in which he presented it is still appealing to all of us, especially in a scientific minded mentality. So who contributed to this? Maybe I can say Vivekananda, because he was speaking the language of the modern man. Swami Chinmayananda, Swami Dayananda. There are people like that who had come and, has rejuvenated during that time. But there are people who are not what you call making an impact, but has given the philosophy a new direction or a new methodology. Those are the people like Ramana or Ramakrishna or, Nisargadatta Maharaj. They may not be considered at the same level of Shankaracharya. So we are not here to evaluate a master by what he did. What we have to do is what is available to us. Take the cream out of it, make it our own, and try to live that. In the process of living that, if you feel that your dharma is to pass on this knowledge to as many people, which I believe is my feeling, which is because after I feel that is my responsibility, that I should make this available in a language which is understandable to as many people as possible. Therefore, I am undertaking this. But I don't claim that I am a master of the Shankaracharya's level or Ramana Maharshi or Ramakrishna or anything. I am doing my little best what is possible. Same way you will find there are so many people like Swami Sarvapriyananda and others doing in their own way. This will keep on happening as long as people are interested in spirituality. But there also Manushyanam Sahasreshu Kaschit Yatata Siddhaye. Out of the 1,000 people, one may be interested in knowing this yatana or this method of, what Krishna is talking about. And that too, Shankaracharya himself has written in the Vivek Chudamani. Sahasra Kodi, what you call? Shatakodi Janma Suhradai Punyo Vina Labhyate. That is 100 crores of life of punya is required for you to turn towards spirituality. So what are the lives we have lived? From the worm to the human body, whatever evolution we had gone through, those have taught us muscle memory, machine memory, and all those skin memory or all type of memories which further developed into our intellectual capability. So that is why when he says that this is a very rare approach, not many will be interested. Even here, if you see that, how many people will be interested in listening, and those who are coming also, how many stays for the full period of the lecture, even one day, and listening to the full topic which is being discussed from, say, from 2020 onwards, what I have been doing from Kathopanishad onwards when I started. There are only a handful of people who have been regular and coming without break. There may be a few people who will be listening to the online makers, their timing or their, work pressure may not be allowing them to come for the clubhouse operations. So what basically you should understand is that we cannot judge or we should not evaluate what is happening for this, whether another Shankaracharya need to come or not. What is told by the Upanishad is not different from what Shankaracharya told, is not different from what Sarvapriyananda tells or I tell from this world today. And it will be the same when 100 years down the line, somebody else who will be doing this, he will also talking the same thing. So truth is only one, but it can be told in many ways. But all the ways in which somebody talks, different people talk, indicate toward the same direction. And none, not even Shankaracharya, nor even Upanishad, was able to tell what is that self in us. We have to find it out ourselves. Only we can do that job, the listeners, using Shravana Manana Nididhyasana.
Deep and very helpful. My next question is about, again, partially to that, about sharing this knowledge. I've gained some knowledge, and I believe some of the knowledge personally I have, both spiritual and the social, is going to help people. But I'm torn between two directions. One is, obviously, first priority is to know the reality of oneself. If we don't know the reality of every single minute of our life, I personally believe we have to prioritize to find out the reality of oneself. And then comes anything else, including some sort of social service. Even sharing the spiritual knowledge or social advice or any sort of help. So about this, now you are also dedicating lots of your personal energy and time and money for actually the sharing. And even Buddha, when he realized, he was very, very hesitant to share this thing because he thought this is impossible to share, why to bother and all those things. So personally, from my side, my request to you or this question is, is there any sin in sharing and helping people with whatever the knowledge I have? Because multiple reasons. One of the reasons, even Ramana, somebody asked, like, what is Papa Punya? Ramana bluntly says, whatever you do is Papa. And then somebody asked, like, Maharishi, what do you mean by whatever I do is Papa? Or like sin? Then he explains, whatever you do with thinking and the intention that you are doing, that is a sin. Whatever you do without the intention that you are doing, then that is punya. That is not papa, at least. Right? So, if I were to venture out with the good intention of helping others and sharing whatever I learned, both spiritual and technical, without knowing who I am in reality, right? Is it okay, or should I only preferably spend all my energy only in finding out my real reality, or somewhere on the way I can also think of helping people who are in need? Okay, should I go an extra mile for that, or spend some time to help people, both spiritual searching people or even people who want to learn technology or even personal advice?
Jai, I am not the person to instruct you what to do and what not to do. It will come as a call from you within that I have benefited by what I have learned. Let me share it. That call will come from within you. Until that comes, you are not prepared also. Because that call can come only when you know that you are prepared for it. Otherwise, what happens is that we are not sure about ourselves. So how are we going to talk about ourselves to others? Ourself means I am not talking about the ego individualistic thing, our true nature. So when we talk about it and questions are being asked, that questions should be having an answer within you, which you have done and found out by yourself doing Shravana Manana Nididhyasana in your growing days. Then only that answer will come spontaneously to you what to answer for that. This method of sharing knowledge with others is a double-edged sword. In the sense, when we embark upon that, we think we have enough knowledge to share. But only when we start preparing for the classes, we will know how little we know. This is my personal experience. I have been trying my level best to listen to, those who have been teaching, those who have taught, those whose lectures are available with me as a recording or book. I go through them to get the best which I can reproduce when I'm taking a class. So there is a lot of effort. I am able to do that because I'm a retired person. Or I should have gone ahead if I had not retired. Even while working, I don't think I would have ever ventured to do that because I don't have enough time for it. So we have to consider all the other patterns to decide before whether we are capable of it, are we prepared for it, do we have enough resources within it, and do we have the call from within to do that. Then only you can do that.
Binduji, namaste. Prakash, namaste. Namaste. Binduji, there is some Gita says there are 700 shlokas, and I found that in Kashmiri Gita there is 745, and in Bhojpuri also there is 745. Why this difference?
A very old scripture, different areas, there have been different what you call dialects in which it have been written. So for those, it is not that necessary that everybody follows the same, the dialect or the methodology. For Kashmiri dialect or Bhojpuri dialect, or if you come to South Indian dialect, there will be variations from that. But what we traditionally go as per the record is that what has been given in the commentaries of authoritarian people like Shankara, Ramanuja or Madhva, those people who have been there, who have mentioned that it is 700 verses. So what are the additional verses when these historians of Bhandarkar Oriental Research Institute compared that? They found that the language and the meter, etc., are not as per what is the 700 of the remaining verses were showing. So they have considered these are all add-on verses locally by some local people. But philosophy-wise, there is no difference. But those were language-wise and the meter-wise, they are not comparable with the original one. So they also come to the conclusion that the original Gita is only of 700 verses.
One more question, sir. This uh, the Gita is it a rebellious doctrine, against Vedanta, or is a part of Vedanta? But that means
It,
Vedas. A Brahmin could keep 4 Vedas at a home. Shudra cannot keep. Others cannot keep. But that is not true with Mahabharata, with this Gita. Gita, anybody can keep it in his own house. So by that sense, is it a diversion from Vedanta, or it is a pragmatism of Veda Brahmins that they have converted into Veda, and so that everybody can read it? Please give on this. You got my point, what I'm saying? Because
yes,
Thank
yes, Kuldev. The thing is that originally there was only one Veda. It was neither called Rig Veda, Yajurveda, Samaveda or Atharva Veda. It was only one Veda. It is Krishna Dvaipayana Vyasa who categorized the mantras of that Veda into 3 Vedas. That is Rig, Yajur, Sama. Based on the ritualistic aspects as Rigveda, the Brahmana and the predominant, the Brahmana based on this thing was called Yajurveda, and the meter and the poetic portion of the Vedas, which had more of chanting, were divided as Samaveda. And then the 4th Veda, Atharva Veda, is a much later addition to that group by adding to lot of the other rituals which are part of not of the original Veda, but it got added as explanatory notes to the Vedas. So Atharva Veda, which has got more of rituals, has been added as the 4th Veda, which is repetition of Vedas, mantras from Rig Veda, Yajur Veda and Sama Veda, plus explanatory notes on the methodology of yajnas. So these are the 4 Vedas in general. And Upanishads, or the Vedanta, what they call it is part of those 4 Vedas. All the 4 has got it, but they are not necessarily at the end of the Veda. But it got the name Vedanta because Veda, the word meaning itself is knowledge. So Vedanta means the end of the knowledge, means end of the learning, where you go beyond the ritualistic aspects into the higher levels of spirituality. Therefore, it was given Vedanta, but the other name for it is Upanishad. The Upanishad definition has been given by Shankaracharya very detailed. There is a commentary on that itself alone. So these 4 Vedas were taught, educated and kept by all the people during the Vedic period of times. But down the line, like every system goes through what you call modifications and favoritism, etc., these 4 varnas which were based on guna karma vibhagashaha, based on the quality of the work individuals are doing, is the way in which the people were divided as into 4. That is Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya and Shudra. All of them were same in the category of the Vedic period of time. But down the line, what happened then, the corruption took place in the society. The son of a Brahmana became another Brahmana, or Kshatriya's son became a Kshatriya. There was no way a Shudra son can become a Kshatriya or a Brahmana. But there are incidents where they were revered and they were treated as good as the Brahmanas. Now the word Brahmana is one who studies Veda, not the one who is born to a Brahmana person. The word Brahma is another word for Veda. So Brahmana is the one who studies Brahma or Veda. So if you look into the stories in the Vedas and the Upanishad, you will find there are a lot of kings, Ajata Shatruja, Pranava Jahanavalli, etc., a lot of the people who are teaching to the Brahmanas or the people who were wanting to learn Vedas, to them the Upanishad. So it was very clear that the Vedic period didn't have this category. You cannot keep a Veda book or anything. And those things, the books came much later. The earlier period was from Shrota, by listening and repeating and by hearting it. That is why it got the name Shruti also. So, but from the Gautama Smriti, Manusmriti, Gautama Smriti, Parashara Smriti, etc., there are Smritis. Now the Smritis are different from Shastras. Smritis are code of context written for the kings pertaining to those periods by the systems which were prevalent in the society to maintain the social needs of that thing. So those were not accepted and or made as a mandatory by the Vedic period of time. They were more of constitutional requirement by the kings or the rulers of those period. Shankaracharya's commentary itself says that the knowledge is equally applicable to everyone, every Tom, Dick and Harry. There is no difference whether it's a man or a woman or anything. But if you go and see a Gautama Smriti or Manusmriti, some parts, you will find the discrimination being done for Shudras, women, and Bahya. They're talking about that there is Shudra Bahyas. Means outside the four castes there are people like the Chandala and Kirata, etc. There are so many of them which are different from that. As the systems diminished in the world, these methodology of the Vedic thing also lost its glamour in India, and especially during the Mughal invasion and the subsequent British period, it almost vanished from the society. But in pockets they were maintaining it, and they maintained and revived it, saying that it is Brahmanical. Now if you look at the Brahmanas in the total Indian 144 crores of people, you may find about 20 or 30 or 40 crores of people only. The rest of them are not the four Varnas. So what can we say about it? So there has been a lot of misinformation in the society about the goods and bads of Vedic period and the teachings of the Veda Upanishads, a part of it. Now, if you come to keeping of the Vedas not be kept in the house, only Mahabharata and being kept. So is Bhagavad Gita a variation from that? Technically speaking, it is the same Vyasa who divided the Veda into four, wrote the 18 Puranas and Mahabharata. So Mahabharata and Bhagavata. So all of them have got Vyasa as the author for it. This is as per the details available in the archaeological department for the manuscripts which have been found in India. So when we talk about it, why did the one who codified Veda into 4 write 18 Puranas and Mahabharata? In Mahabharata, one chapter, one subsection is 700 verse, because Mahabharata as sum total has got 100,000 verses, and that is the single largest epic in the world today. In that one 700 verse is all what we are talking about Bhagavad Gita. Now Bhagavad Gita is considered not part of the Veda, but as a smriti along with the other smritis like Manusmriti, etc. Why? Because even though it is talking about Atma as one of the part of the subjects Krishna is discussing with it, majority of the verses in the Bhagavad Gita is about man making, how you can be a better man in this world. And for that, what are the do's and don'ts is being discussed in the Bhagavad Gita. But to fall back, where do you fall back? For falling back, you should have the knowledge, then only you will be able to apply that in your life. It is what Krishna is saying. So therefore, there is a value for that 700 verse which is being discussed to Krishna to Arjuna. If you look into that aspect of Gita, it is a handbook for a day-to-day living for anybody, whether he was in the Mahabharata period or whether he is in the today's period of time. This can be applicable with modifications required to the social order changes what has been there during the Mahabharata period to the social order changes which is available today. But the instructions and the methodology has value even today. This is the answer to your question.
One more question. Which calendar was being used in Mahabharata? The calendar, the Hindu calendar, Panchang. And why Vyasa has to write at the back of the Gita that this text can be read by anybody, inclusive of women and all genders, and the people of lower caste. Why he has to mention that as a note? What was the motivation for that?
Shloka? Can you tell the shloka?
Yeah, I have to get that shloka. I will get that.
And come back, because without the reference to the shloka, I don't want to talk.
The instruction is at the last page. By closing the shloka I will give. If you have not come across that shloka, huh?
I want you to come with the shloka, because then I can.
Yes, right. But actually, okay, I will tell you, maybe tomorrow I will get that. I have to refer the book. This which calendar was being used for the dates and tithis? So that 18 days.
I am not into astrology and cosmology, so I won't be knowing the calendar or Panchang which was used.
Is mentioned? Are the dates, calendar dates mentioned in the Kavya itself?
It is the position of certain constellations which is referred in the Mahabharata. Based on that the position of the constellation, the dates have been arrived at.
But as such, the Vyasa has not put the date. Today is the 26th of September 2020. Now the Mahabharata he has not started with the time.
He has mentioned.
Why? What was the reason? Has he done it purposefully? Or what was the motivation?
Because the modern calendars are not the calendars or the methodology in which ancient people have been looking into their calculation of the time and the date and etc. So, because for them, the position of the star and the position of the constellation are the guiding lines which nobody can involve and change it. Because if you look at the calendars, you will see that how many times the calendars have undergone change. What is human man-made can be changed. But what is not in
No,
the
I am
hand,
saying which calendar was being followed by this.
they don't use a calendar at
The
that time.
Vedic people
Because
were not using
understand,
any calendar. Huh?
no, they were using always the stars and
Must be
in
doing some
the
calculation.
solar
With
eclipse and
something,
lunar
yeah, they
eclipse.
must be doing some calculation. With some.
Yeah, the calculations are there, but it is not on, they don't have a 365 years a year or anything. They have something called the yugas, which was different from today's year, what we're talking about. The Hora, the Yuga and everything came much bit later into the picture. So whether it is a Dwapara Yuga, Kali Yuga and all those things was written only when the Puranas were written. Before that, it was even that was not there. For them, time itself was of no important matter. Because sunrise and sunset was the only matter what mattered for them.
There was no Muhurta. Muhurta was not there. Huh?
Muhurta is there. Muhurta is there, but Muhurta is based on sunrise and sunset. And then they had Titis. Titis based on the position of the moon.
That means they were having the calendar that way.
No, that they don't call it as a calendar, because calendar is something where you have a repetition of the same thing. But they didn't have a repetition. Their repetition started after the 4 yugas. That was their calendar, if you want to say, call it as a calendar. Otherwise, from the Satya Yuga to the end of Kali Yuga was one continuous calendar for them.
How are they calculating that? Somebody must have been calculating that. Na? Some count somewhere. Some counter would have been there. Na?
No, they have a daily calculations. They have a day calculation, what is called the Ahoratra. Aho means day, Ratra means night. So Ahoratra was the measurement of the meteorology in which that had, and the Titis were based on the moon's position. The Krishna Paksha and the Shukla Paksha they were calculating. But that was not for the month or the year. It was for the continuity of the yugas.
Thank you for adding me to the panel. I would like to add on this that the Gregorian...
Just a minute.
Okay.
You have to wait because you are in the order, you are just come in. Srinivas?
Yeah, namaste Binduji.
Namaste.
So I have one quick question. The way the Karma Yoga part has unfolded, like last 2 weeks, so is it right to say that actually sadhaka's journey is in the reverse, right? Like the explanation has been first Vyavasayatmika Buddhi, next things like Nishkama Karma, then Sankhya Buddhi, Samatvam Yoga Muchyate. So somehow it feels actually the journey which actually practically undertaken is from the reverse order, right? Is that the right understanding? Like first it is Nishkama Karma, then Sankhya Buddhi gets developed, and finally the Pramana Janya Jnana, what Vyavasayatmika Buddhi talks about, that happens, and from there it is a different journey kind. Is that the right understanding, or
no, it was the methodology in which Krishna explained it to Arjuna. He said what is the reality, the truth. Na jayate mriyate. Then he thought about that, Vyavasayatmika Buddhi. That is, if you don't understand that, then this is the next. If that also you don't understand, then that way he came to the bottommost level of the Karma Yoga as the methodology. Even if you don't understand, start from the Karma Yoga. So that is how Krishna explained it from that, because he was answering first question itself. Ashochan anya shochastam nattum shochitum arhasi. For that, he had to give an answer directly, So that was because there is neither the birth nor death for the Atma. What you think you are killing and everything, all those explanations was given when he found that Arjuna's face doesn't give a satisfaction that he has understood. Then he brings down to each level step by step. So you will say reverse order from the progress point of view, but from the understanding point of view, he told the first one, the reality, absolute reality, came down step by step to Karma Yoga.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Thank you, Binduji. And one other quick question I have, I don't know how to put it, but for example, since Gita mainly talks about Karma Yoga and Jnana Yoga, and Karma Yoga will give Chitta Shuddhi, but in popular philosophies, there are other things which are presented as uh, a path to Chitta Shuddhi. Like some of them might even ask you to indulge in the world, and somehow even that will give Chitta Shuddhi. So where would you rank this Karma Yoga in that sense? Like, is it like a bottleneck that everybody should pass through, or it's an optional thing, somebody can reach it some other way or something like
Till you reach that jnana, that achala buddhi or sthita prajna, that level, till you reach that, everything what you do has to be in the methodology of Karma Yoga. There is never a time when Karma Yoga can be stopped.
So it's like a definitely pass through kind of thing, right? There is no escape from this.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Vindash. That's it.
Thank you, Sri. Yes, Lokansh.
Thank you, Binduji, for giving me the opportunity to speak. Is it okay if I want to add something? Time was asking about the Mahabharata time span and the months and the dates.
If you have the knowledge, please.
Sure, yeah. So the question he asked was like why there was no date and month and day that was mentioned. It's because the Gregorian calendar that came into existence was in existence after at least 2000 to 2500 years later the Mahabharata took place. And if we consider the accuracy and the preciseness of the calendar and the dating, rather we talk about the Hindu calendars or the Aztec or the Mayans or the Egyptian, a constellation-based calendar is way more precise and have way less discrepancy compared to a Gregorian calendar. Because Gregorians, the Roman calendar that we use now, is based on the events in the Bible. So that have a lot of discrepancy based on geography and how the data was captured. So that is the reason none of the dates in Mahabharata was taken in the Roman format, and hence the constellations were more encouraged at that point of time. And on that note, I also have a question, if that's okay, if I can ask.
Yes, go ahead.
Sure. So I wanted to ask, like when we say in Advaita Siddhanta that there is we and the God is one entity, right? So when you say that Advaita is the only way, you acknowledge the existence of God, right?
Your voice was breaking, or you are in a place where there is a lot of disturbance is there along with your sound.
Okay, I'm sorry. So I was asking that in Advaita with Siddhanta, we say that the God resides among us, right? That means we acknowledge the existence of God, and for that matter. But there is a very strong statement by eighth.
I don't get your question.
Binduji, maybe we can. He left because I think he was in a railway station. I could hear the announcements.
I have one question and then I have to go. Yes, because I had. What is the importance of Darshana and these 100 sins of Shishupal? What is its hidden meaning? Well, one meaning we know that, but there must be something, other than this meaning, which I feel. Why should there, I think the number 100 is coming there with Shishupal and severing of the head. Now 100, severing of the head, Krishna, and this Sudarshana. I think this is not conveying, this is conveying some astronomy basically. This is,
Kuldeep,
yeah, right.
the problem for me is that stories have no value in my eyes. I use stories as same as a spoon and a fork. My hunger is in the food. So I am only looking for the food. The spoon and the fork are just means by which the truth is being delivered. So whether it is Krishna, Shishupala, Arjuna, Rama, Krishna, all of them are story characters in my understanding. I go by what they taught and what is the philosophy which is helping me to find the happiness within myself. That is my direction. And rest of the things I have not given, whether it is in the Vedas or Mahabharata or Ramayana or anywhere. I have little interest in knowing the integrity or the details of it.
Right. Thank you. But how come suppose if Binduji, your understanding would be wrong, is there any chances, any remote chances that what you have been talking, what you have been giving actually interpretations, those are wrong? Any chance that is wrong? Is it possibility there?
I will see the wrong is something which has to be wrong to me also. What I am talking about is analyzing my own experiences of as a human being, my experiences of my waking dream and deep sleep, and I am experiencing these things is not unique to me as Bindu. It is same for you, Kuldeep, or Srinivas, or anybody for
Saying
that
that
matter.
all whatever the explanation, I am just putting it as I am putting it as a shastra, that by any chance, see, you said all over whatever you said, I agree with you. I am saying that by any chances, is it possible that you would be wrong? The whole interpretation will be wrong. The Shankara will be wrong. Possibility, just possibility, yes or no. That is all. I don't want to get into discussion.
No, I have the possibility. If it is there, it should have been brought up, and then I am ready. If I am wrong, I am ready to correct myself. Because if my understanding is wrong, somebody should tell me I am wrong, and I'll learn from him to correct my mistakes so that I am better off. Because if I don't know that if I am made a wrong, then my understanding is wrong, that has to be known to me also. The possibility, I cannot say, because so many possibilities are there. What is possible, what is not possible, I will not be able to say that. But I am ready to accept if my
What
thing is wrong.
what do you call is,
Sorry, Kuldeep ji, I had to move you down into the audience because you did not have a question. You were just in a narration. We will bring you up because I think Ganesh Prasad ji is coming up. And let's the Q&A continue and then you can come back up again. Sorry, Bindoji, I didn't mean to disrupt the flow, but I thought it was inappropriate that he was on a monologue. Is that okay, Bindoji?
In fact, I didn't understand what he was talking about, so I couldn't make out head and tail of where he is going or what was his question.
Thank you. Yeah. I think Ganesh Prasad ji put his hand up, but he's not able to come up.
Yeah, he has this problem on and off. Namaste, Karin.
Namaste, Binduji. I'm sorry I pressed the wrong button to go up.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
sorry I missed the class. I'm going to listen to it online, though.
Okay.
This whole new setup The mic is now on the left. And
Yeah, that's why. I also
so,
had a problem first time.
bet it was a good class though.
Namaste, Harsh.
Today was only Q&A, Karen, no class.
Okay.
No class today.
Okay. I'm gonna listen to it anyway. So I'm looking forward to it.
Harsh, you had something to ask?
I do have a question though, Bindoji, since I'm
Yes.
here.
Go ahead.
Um, what I have noticed I've been listening to you in the last 4 years, and in the last couple of months, it's like um, settling into being. It is more of a relaxed way of being. It is not fun. I need to know. I have to know. It is more a relaxation um, of being, understanding um, what thoughts are, what feelings are, how important things are within your own experience. And it's quite the difference. And I'm figuring out that everything is important. Everything is the same, has the same importance. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. That is what is expected out of the outcome of Shravana Manana Nididhyasana also. That tranquility, peace within, and viewing everything in this world with the equanimity. That is what is expected out of the outcome of the sadhana.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you, Karan. Namaste, Brek.
Namaste, Bindo. Namaste, everyone. This is probably going to be answered later, but I'm going to ask anyway because I want to see your take on it now. And I have something going on Saturday that it's applicable to me. But what I found recently in this last week, it's an amazing how all the connected dots are happening through service to others. And I've done this my whole life, but the issue was not the service to others. It's just how you're seeing the service to others, right? So there's two things that I'm seeing here that seem important to me in this, seeing this whole act of karma yoga. In the first, it has to be something that you feel that you have to do, you must do, you must do. And you talked about this, you started out with this story that you were talking about with you of why you do what you do here. Because you can use the word called, but that gets used so much. And then called would be someone else or something else calling you, but the act that Arjuna has to do, that Krishna is telling him, you're built to do this. You know you need to do this. So there's that, right? As you feel as if within you, you know you need to do this. That has to be the first requirement, right? And then if that's filled, then you move forward. But then it's the process of watching any expectation or anything any expectation that you're looking for in the act of service. But last week when I asked you the question about feeling good, if the feeling good comes in the action instead of after the action as an expectation, is it fine then in that because it's in real time the action is what's giving you enjoyment because you're fulfilling your known activity, something like that. I don't know if that came out clear, Bindo.
It's very clear, Prek. And that exactly is what Karma Yoga is defined as. Yoga Karmasu Kaushalam. Even though the word used is Kaushalam, the dexterity or the skillfulness in action. Now the skillfulness in action is not that they said that skillfulness in action measured by the result. No, it didn't say that way. The skillfulness itself in the action is the perfect way of doing the action where the action itself becomes the enjoyment. Now you don't see the action as done by you. It is that you are organically become one and part of the action or the total, what you call environment of action. You become a integral part of it. When you become that, the enjoyment you get out of that action is not what you gain after the action as a result. No, the mere performance of the action gives the happiness. The happiness is being, being the pulse of the action, so that the action is not separate from you. You don't become a doer of something else. The action becomes, you become the action, or there is no difference between the doer and the action. That, what I said, the pulse of the action is what it is. And you don't wait, you don't see that, you are waiting for a result of the action. That is whether it comes or not comes. We're not worried about it. Immaterial to you, because you took the happiness of the action even before the results have come. Whatever the result comes is of immaterial to you.
And that action done in that way would be what Krishna was telling Arjuna, just allow the current to take you. So that action would be done in the current, in
Yes.
the flow.
Yes. It will be an organic, what you call, involvement into the duties which we are doing. It is no more a burden for us to do it. No more a target to be achieved. You are not even looking at the results, whatever it comes. The action, when done without ego and fulfillment of that action, with the happiness of doing it, has to definitely give the best of the results. So Krishna, when he tells Arjuna to be in the action, which we'll learn more in the third and fourth chapter, we will know that. So you will understand that there is a beauty in living, not expecting out of life, but in living. That is the type of action what we are talking about.
Yeah, thank you, Bindo. And I just want to tell you that all the work that you put in, it matters. It matters to me.
Namaste, Anu.
Namaste Bindoji, namaste everybody. Okay, so this is not related with the question, related with Breck's question. So, like Arjuna, when he was killing his uncles and grandfather and great-great-grandfathers and cousins. So that is difficult, no? So that will not. He's doing karma, but there's no happiness in that.
he is getting the happiness of doing the duty, and he didn't see that he is killing his teacher, the grandsire or the cousins as, they're his people. That is where his ego, he didn't use it. Only when his ego comes, it will become my teacher, my grandfather, my cousins. That my aspect has been taken away from that. It is, they are the enemies of Dharma, and I am performing an act to restore Dharma in the country. Therefore, whatever comes as a impediment for restoring the Dharma, they are all to be eliminated. That elimination is, when it is being done, it gives the happiness that so much I am closer to establishing Dharma in the country. So that is the way in which he has to see that actions which he has done. But the moment he thinks that it is my uncle, my teacher, my cousins, then he will not be even able to take his bow and arrow. That is where the desire part of it. The desire shows that how can the desire come when there is a relationship between me and the object. Then the desire will come. When you are keeping the desire away, but only the action, because action is inevitable. That's what I said. Living itself will become a happiness when you are not expecting the results of it. The life, you are not expecting anything out of life. Your happiness is unfathomable. But what happens is that the small, small happinesses which we get from doing things is related to the I-ness or the ego which we maintain. When we keep doing that way, we feel that we are getting happiness, but it will be mixed with sammishrena. It will be mixed with both happiness and sorrow, because sometimes it will be favorable, sometimes it won't be favorable. But the moment you take out that desire aspect out of the whole thing, desire, how do you take out the desire? When the ego is not involved. When the ego is not involved, you are living for living's sake, not for enjoyment of the results of living.
Okay, thank you. Okay, my question is other question. Sthit Pragya, you were talking about Sthit Pragya person who's established in self yesterday. First is this self is a feelingless. It's an intuitive feeling of I. I or self. And in my body, I feel feeling of existence has a sensation. Now there is a all the time my attention is very much attached with the sensations. If I feel good, then I want that, and if I don't feel good, then I don't want that. So this this tug of war, always this by default my my identity is, or my attention is trapped in those feelings, because it feels that I exist with those feelings. And in the sthit pragya, it is by effort I have to take my attention and and realize, because it's an intuitive feeling of I, intuitive feeling, it is not a sensation. So efforts needs to be go there, needs to put to be there, to be established, basically to be there, but I'm never established in it, because whenever there is a there is a crisis, I'm Anu and I'm acting as Anu. So, okay, so what does it take to be sthit pragya? That's my question. And if it is not possible, then can surrender help in being sthit pragya? And what is surrender? Maybe surrender you're going to cover last time in the end, and maybe you said something about it, but it's not happening. So yeah, these two questions I want to ask. How to be sthit
So
pragya?
Anu,
Yeah.
two questions you had.
Yes.
How to be sthita prajna is coming up in the next few verses, starting from 55 to 72, is all about how to be sthita prajna or how the sthita prajna is. Both it is by giving what is sthita prajna becomes the means to being a sthita prajna also. It becomes a sadhana also. So you have to wait for the verse up to till the 72 is over, the second chapter is over. Then you will know what are the means you can become a sthita prajna. That is the answer to your question. There are easy methods and dedicated methods with which we can do that. It all needs is what you thought as that intuitive knowledge is not that knowledge we are talking about the self. It is the self because of which even the intuition takes place. If you cannot get out of that clutch of intuition, body, operation, you will not be able to be free from the individuality which comes as a desire. All the other thing is from that individuality, ego. When you go to sleep, you are not going to sleep in the deep sleep case I am talking about. You are not going there with an effort. Is it? When all efforts end, you fall asleep. Even if an iota of the ego is active, you will be tossing in your bed without getting the sleep. But the moment you surrender that I-ness or the ego, you don't know you became yourself, the self in you. We call it as deep sleep. That's a different issue. I'm not talking from that point of view, our experiential point of view. It is not an intuitional self at that time. Are you intuiting that you are the self at that time? No. It is our natural swabhava, what we call it as swabhava, or the natural nature in which we are. So, all these things which we will be doing for the purpose of achieving the state of Sthita Prajna is to have that piece of happiness which we have when we were in ourselves, to be our uninterrupted continuous flow of being, whether we are in waking, dream or deep sleep. But what we do at that time in the waking will be seen as a sthita prajna by others, but from the same person who is in sthita prajna, for him it is not any activity, neither doership nor enjoyership, no effort, no intuition. It is being, Atmarati Atmakrida, that the two words which Shankaracharya used. You are engaged in yourself and you are playful within yourself. You are not having something else for being enjoyment. So these two things will happen even in the waking hours or when we are not having the individuality or the ego with us. That is the time when you say that it is not an intuitive knowledge, but it's a swabhava.
I meant by intuitive knowledge is like it is not a feeling, like in body you feel feeling of existence. That it is not like that. It is just the knowing that you exist. That is what I meant by self.
Yeah, see, even the idea that I know I exist, as you rightly said, it is an intuitive assumption which is being deployed by me by giving a definition to what is existence. We do not know what existence is without a content in it. But a existence without a content is our experience in our deep sleep. We cannot call it as existence because no words is operative at that level. There is no expression we can bring in. So from the waker's point of view, we use the word existence, knowledge, idea or intuition, knowing, being, but none of these are really the definition for the self. You are the self when everything else is absent. It need not be, cannot call it as a deep sleep or waking or dream. It is that which knows there is a waking, dream and deep sleep also. What do we call it as? Avyavahari. It cannot be transacted with any words because yato vacho nivartande aprapya manasasaha. The words of the mind, dependency of the words, when it stops, even the mind cannot fathom without words. That is what is the awareness which we have, or awareness. Even the word awareness is not what we are talking about. The awareness we are familiar is the awareness of the waker. But that awareness is not even that of the waker. It is in that the expressions of individuality, waking, dream, others, the world, the empirical world, the cosmos, everything is being expressed. So the substratum from where all these notions and names and forms, everything which comes up, is what knows the experience of the waking, dream and deep sleep. It is present not only in the waking, not only in the dream, not only in deep sleep, but it is that in which waking, dream and deep sleep happens. There is no individuality there. It is not my personal property or my personal knowledge. It is a knowledge in which everything is there. So you, me, the world is also in that. So I am not now the one who is knowing that. I am that in which I am existing, you are existing, the world is existing. We use our names for our existence. But that one, whether we can call it as existence or not, no. That is why when it becomes muni, mauni, you become silent because no words can be used for transaction of that state or that reality.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. And I think Prakash, next time when time comes up, raises his hand, I don't think we should take him to the panel.
Binduji, I didn't realize this time was Kuldeepji. So,
Yeah.
yeah, as soon as I heard his voice, I realized it is him.
Namaste,
Namaste,
Binduji.
Revati. Namaste.
Namaste all. Binduji, my question is, in Swadharma or in Swabhava, how to relate with Swadharma as the Swabhava of Atma, Brahman. Everything is Swabhava only, the projection, like waking is. So, how to relate with Swadharma there?
See, Swadharma is from the point of transaction, empirical world, Vyavhara Vastu. Whereas Swabhava is the substratum from where the Swadharma is propping up. Like the individuality, and the individuality's proper Swadharma or his personal duties or responsibilities, whatever you want to call it in English. So it is that basis from which it is from the Swarupa, the Swabhava comes. And the Swabhava is what gives rise to the individuality and his Swadharma. That is the relationship we have to link one after the other. But all of them are just what you call explanations when you have the experiences. We are using the words. All these words are used as a waker. We use these words. But in reality, no words are applicable there for the Swarupa.
Swarupa.
Yeah, Swarupa Samstha.
Yes. So to the thing that Arjuna is not like not only Arjuna, but if the situation is you said when you are in that like kriya or something, you have you have made sankalpa to do that. That's why you do. Otherwise, he is not insisting on to you should do this. Like Krishna is saying, no?
I didn't get your question.
I don't remember which shloka, but you said, Binduji, why you, because you are in this, you said you will do the war and you come to this this place. So that's why you have to do the war. Otherwise, it's not your what. Otherwise, it's not the. I thought like that. Otherwise, Krishna will not say to Arjuna, "You have to do this," because Arjuna made the sankalpa to do the war. Then he hesitated to do that.
Yes.
So Krishna is saying, this is your sankalpa and this is your swadharma. Otherwise, he wouldn't say that. Okay. Thank you.
That's right.
Binduji, one question. Like when they were fighting the war, it is called Karam Yog. So after they won the war, they took sannyas and they went to the mountains to meditate. So will that be Karam Yog? Like day to day actions are also they come under Karam Yoga, right? If I am living day to day life like a mundane life, so those actions are also Karam Yoga, and they need to be like the action need to be what do you say? I don't know, actions. We give it to God. What do we say that? Do we day to day actions?
In Krishna's own words, Yat kurushyasi yatasnasi tat kurushva matarpanam. When he said that, whatever you do, yat kurushyasi, yadasnasi, whatever you consume, tat kurushva madarpanam, dedicate that unto me. When he says that, until the last breath, even the last breath you dedicate to him, dedicate to the Lord. That the Lord within me is taking the last breath. It's not me, namama. When you do that, that is karma yoga. Where is the I? For the I to do it. I is an imaginary demon we have created, isn't it? We are all self, the reality, the Brahman. Sarvam khalu idam Brahma. Neha nanasti kinchana. There is nothing else other than that. So, the I is not the one who is taking the last breath. Even the last breath is my dedication to that which created the experience of me. When you do that, that is Karma Yoga.
Basically, I don't exist.
No, you are not there. Who are you? Answer me. That is what Ramana Maharshi told you to ask, who am I? It's the same thing what Krishna is saying, what the Upanishads have told. Yeah, Patrick, you are right. If there is dedication, there is two. There is no two. That is why he said that, Tat Kurushva Madarpanam. Do that to me. The me and the doer and are not two. That is when you remove that
For
duality
that I
totally.
to me.
Yeah. Okay, Prakash, can we call it a day?
So thank you everyone for coming up and asking questions and and engaging with Binduji in except for that small distraction time. Our next session is open discussion on Advaita, Sunday at 8:30 p.m. IST. And then following Monday, we'll resume Bhagavad Gita classes, class number 30 at 8:30 p.m. IST. Thank you, Binduji.
Thank
Over
you,
to you.
Prakash. Thank you, Jai. Thank you, Srini, Brek, Anu, Revati, and others who have come, who are not here. Ganesh Prasad, I'm sorry we couldn't pull you up for some glitch on your side. Hope you will be able to rectify that and join us on Sunday or Monday. Hari Om. Good night.
Hari Om.
Good night.